Tilly and the Buttons, and we thought we'd do something a little bit different today where I answer your questions. So we've crowdsourced some questions from our followers on Instagram, so thank you very much to everyone who sent one in. We've picked out a few of them, couldn't answer all of them unfortunately, otherwise this would be a very long video, so I'll answer as many as I can. So the first question is from Meryl, and she asks, what tool or trick sped up your sewing the most? So for me, I would have to say task batching. So what this means is, rather than following the instructions word by word, and working on each seam individually, so you pin that seam, then you sew it, then you trim the seam allowances, you finish it, you press it, and then you move on to the next seam. What you do is you pin as many seams as you can before you need to stitch them, then you move over to your sewing machine, you sew all those seams, then you get out your scissors, you trim them all down, and so on. So what this does is it saves all that time moving between your cutting space, your sewing machine, your overlock if you have one, your iron. So yeah, I just found that this really sped up my sewing, and it's something that I do all the time. So in fact, in my new book, Make It Simple, which is coming out in February 2020, I've outlined this method in a lot more detail, and I've also, for all the main projects, I've included, as well as the regular instructions, I've included an additional set of steps, which is for if you want to do the task batching method. It lays out the order in which you would do it. So yeah, give it a try if you haven't done it already. Okay, so the next question, I've actually combined two questions because they're very similar, so I'll answer them at the same time. So the first one is Kirsty, who asked, how did you decide to give up your day job in favour of Tilly and the Buttons, and was it scary? And then Isabel asked, how much preparation and savings did you need before going fully self-employed? So this is going to be different for everyone. It's not a one-size-fits-all. For me personally, I'm a very cautious person, so I didn't want to just sort of take the leap blindly. I'd already been blogging for about 3.5 years, so I'd already built up quite a large audience. I also had been working on my business for a while. I'd gone part-time at my regular job for about 6 months to build it to the point where I felt like, okay, I've tested the market, this is working. And at that point I was sort of generating roughly the same amount in net profit as I was as a take-home salary from my job. So at that point I felt like quite comfortable in leaving. Plus I had a plan B to fall back on as well, which was either I could go back to the former industry I worked in film. I've built up quite a large network of people, but also I've been headhunted for another job, so I felt like, well, I could do that any time. So whereas with the business I thought, okay, it's now or never, I'll give it a go, and if it doesn't work out, then I've got something that I could fall back on. So yeah, I think it really is different for everyone, but if you are thinking of starting a business, or you've started one already and you've got your regular job, I would advise carrying on with your regular job and just sort of building up your business to the point where you know that it's going to work, because you learn so much along the way. Right, the next question is a very important one, and it comes from Sam, who asked, what is your favourite chocolate? Obviously, Cadbury's Dairy Milk, the UK version, not the American one, sorry guys. I like the spin-offs as well, so the Oreo one, amazing. I found in Tesco's the other day, I found a gingerbread Cadbury's Dairy Milk. So it's so nice. White chocolate, controversial. I do like a violet cream as well. So yeah, basically, when it comes to chocolate, I'm a cheap date. So Isabel asks, can I cut woven fabric on the cross grain? I want vertical stripes. So what Isabel means by this is, I'm assuming she's got a fabric that's got a horizontal stripe, and what she wants to do is turn the pattern pieces around so that instead of the grain line arrow on the pattern piece running parallel to the selvages, it's running at a 90-degree angle to the selvages, so the stripes run vertically rather than horizontally. Absolutely, in many cases you can definitely play around with the grain line direction. Where I would be careful is something like a very closely fitted bodice or skirt perhaps, Because the crosswise grain of fabric is a little bit more give than the lengthwise grain, if you've got the lengthwise grain running horizontally across your body, it might just feel a little bit tight. So you could just test it out on the fabric, give it a little pull and see how much give there is in it. Otherwise, I would just do it for areas of garment that don't need to be well fitted, or closely fitting, I should say. So collars, cuffs, pockets, flaps, back yokes, or loosely fitted areas of a skirt or dress or top. So for example, on the Stevie top, sometimes I've made versions where I've got the stripes running one way on the back yoke and then another direction on the back bodice, and that looks really, really nice. Also in stretch fabrics you can do this if it's not a closely fitted area of the garment. So for example, on our rain dress I have here, for the model sample, we cut the fabric with the stripe horizontally for most of the pattern pieces, and then for these back ties at the back, we've got these stripes running vertically, and I think it looks really, really cool. So yeah, let's give it a go. Okay, so our next question comes from Amelia, and she asks, how do I apply to be a pattern tester? So first of all, Amelia, thank you so much for your interest in becoming a pattern tester. For those of you who are not sure what this means, pattern testers are basically home sewists who get an advanced draft copy of a sewing pattern and set of instructions that we're working on. They sew up the garment following the instructions word for word, and they send us photos of the finished make on them from different angles, and then feedback as well. So anything they've spotted, any omissions, errors, inconsistencies, feedback on how it fits them. And then what we do is we use this feedback to improve the pattern and the instructions before we release it out into the world. So we pay our testers a nominal fee. It's not loads, but it's enough so you can buy some nice fabric to make your project with. And yeah, we don't really have a formal application process to become a tester, but what we're looking for in pattern testers, first of all, someone who is reliable, so you need to be able to make the pattern within the time frame that we specify. You need to be really sort of pernickety, so if you've got a really beady eye, you're very good at spotting mistakes or errors. If you can see a missing notch a mile off. If you are good at spotting inconsistencies in labelling, for example, or just being able to say when an instruction just isn't clear, something you found confusing, then yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We look for people of all different levels of sewing ability. They need to make sense to beginners as well as more experienced stitchers. We look for people of different sizes. You don't have to have a large social media following. Pattern testing is not the same thing as reviewing. For us, they're very separate processes. So yeah, if it's something you're interested in, you can just drop us an email. And we do have a long list already of pattern testers, so yeah, don't be offended if we don't get in touch straight away, but we always like to have a nice list of people who we can contact if we need someone else. So Juliet asks, how do you juggle family life and business life? Strong coffee. But no, in all seriousness, at the moment I work part-time in the office and I have a 2-year-old boy who I look after the rest of the time. To be honest, I don't have a super inspiring, perfect answer. It is a real struggle doing both, but at the same time, I know that I'm extremely fortunate to have a child and to have a business that I love. So yeah, I just try and enjoy it as much as I can. I work really fast, I've got an amazing team, I drink lots of coffee, and yeah, just hold on to the fact that it's a phase of my life, it's not going to be forever, and a few years' time maybe I'll get a good night's sleep and have a day off. Sophie asks, apart from dressmaking, what are your favourite crafts? So at the moment, one hobby is enough. We've got the business, the baby and sewing, but once my little boy is a bit older and can play more independently, what I'd really love to get into is the modern doll's house movement. So if you look up the hashtag modern doll house on Instagram, or I'm sure you can find loads on Pinterest as well, you'll find the most gorgeous dolls houses that are made to look like just the most swoon-sewn, Pinterest-worthy modern day houses, with all the little furniture and textiles, little food. When I was a kid I used to love making little Fimo croissants and Battenberg cakes and things, and I don't know if it's because I'm little that mini things just really appeal to me, but yeah, it just makes my heart sing. So I'd love to get into that in the future. And in the meantime, does Play-Doh count? I do Play-Doh at the moment. I can make a really good elephant or lion before Jonah Grattan squishes it. So thanks again to everyone who sent in a question. If we didn't cover your question, I'm sorry. We might do some more of these videos in the future. If you'd like us to, then you can leave a comment below or let us know on Instagram. We're at TillyButtons. And yeah, subscribe to our channel if you want to get more sewing tutorials, tips and tricks, then you can subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Bye.